What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the Market Watch, where we're going to talk about the top 10 cards that I would personally keep / invest in from Battles of Legend if I were to pull them or if I were trading. But we always start our Market Watch is off with some shout-outs, and my shout-out is to Yo for coming back to YouTube. His new videos have been a bit more raw, and I really like it. I like the feel of his new discussions. I like what he's been doing with his channel, and it's been really nice. It's a new style, so if you used to watch him, go check that out. It's definitely great, and if you haven't before, I think you'll really enjoy this YouTuber. And this is more of a rant video. He used to kind of keep himself away from that, but he gets a lot off his chest on what he feels needs to be changed in the community, and I really liked this video as well. So if you enjoy these videos, I gotta give it a thumbs up, boys. If you like this video, go over, like the video, tell him what you think about his rant here, and I think it's a really good listen, and there's a reason why it has so many likes, so many views. It's nice to have Yo back in this community. It's so nice. So let's get into my honorable mention in a sense. We always do an honorable mention with our top 10s, and it's going to be Regeki for not being in Battles of Legend. We haven't seen a reprint of this card in 2.5 years since Premium Gold 2. I would have expected it to be in there. Maybe there's some implication towards a future ban list, but we already have 2 Dark Holes, 2 Kaiju Slumbers, so Exciton is getting printed, and a lot of people are assuming it's going to come back. I just don't know, guys, but I definitely think it was interesting that it wasn't in there, and it hasn't had a print in 2.5 years, yet it's still a $20 plus card. So it should be interesting to see what happens with this card on the next ban list. It's more just conjecture, but it's my shout. It's my only kind of honorable mention for actually being not in Duelist Saga. And into our top 10. And number 10, Transmodify has definitely been a card that over and over just gets hyped for certain archetypes and has worked its way into top cut deck lists such as ABCs, Galaxy ABC, anybody? It's a very good card for Gokis that will be coming out, and just time and time again, there's going to be archetypes made for this card that this card can just be abused in, decks that this card can be abused in. It's not something to overlook, and it's already down as low as $4 on eBay, meaning it'll probably go even lower. Once our set hits here, Battles of Legend, definitely be looking at this card. Trade for your playset, or do the VCTRFS rule of trade for 3 to play, 3 to sell, and 3 to buy. I think that's really good for the average player's means on lower end cards to be able to pick up. You shouldn't have a problem having 9 of these. But personally, I personally just go for as many as I can get, and I either take the L or I take the W. I just see this card being one of those to get. And in the number 9 position, Anti-Spell Fragrance. Now, this is a staple. Let's face it. In side decks, it's a staple. As long as pendulums are a thing, a lot of people are going to side this. It phased out, and then it phased back in even in Zoo format thanks to the True Dracos. Even though they can just set their spells and tribute them, they can't activate them, and a lot of times it kills them. It's really good in the Zoom mirror matches. At times I see a lot of people cite it in. It does so much against pendulums. You just can't ignore a card that literally stops your opponent from playing their turn 1 spells if they don't have a quick play spell and trap destruction out. So definitely be looking. It's one of the prices that has fallen the fastest. You see the turbo, it's going down quick, but these are all damaged. So we have near mint over here at I believe that's 750, already down 250. It's just every single version of this card has dropped a bit, whereas some cards on this list haven't dropped at all, surprisingly. But definitely, it's the card to watch. And on eBay, super rare near mint, $5. The drops are a lot worse on eBay of panic sellers, and we see this over and over. And there's pre-sales already popping up too, but we see near mint, German common, $6. $6 or best offer, free shipping, but that looks damaged. German light play 6. So there are people popping in just trying to get rid of theirs, and I think it'll continue to probably even out to about this price of $5. It's something that, again, I would trade for quite a few. The price was quelled so heavily when the Super came out, and then it just shot right back up. It's something that definitely has the tendency to spike up when its formats hit, and a lot of people are unprepared and just said, I don't need this anymore. There's not too many relevant. Keep a set at least, if not way more. I would definitely be going for this card. And in the number 8 position, Artifact Sanctum. Artifact Sanctum, I personally would want to keep because of its ability to spike way higher. It's going to be a secret rare in the set, so it's getting an upgraded rarity that looks really nice. And overall, in my opinion, Links are going to take over, boys. So there's no secret about it. Links are eventually going to have their way. And what shuts people off from Link summoning, still touching their extra deck? Artifact Scythe. And what gets scythed out the best? Artifact Sanctum. Artifacts just always crawl their way back into very big relevancy at times, and this has fallen so far. It was already down to 12-ish / 11-ish. Now it's 8 here, and you know, it's a solid, like, it's straight 8 light played, 850 near mint free shipping is the lowest. I think there were some lowers last night in the 8 range as well, like the 8 straight, but they got bought. Don't sleep on this card. I know that it may be one of the more expensive as a secret as it comes out. Wait for it to bottom out. It may be its lowest on release. I actually don't know with this card, but I think it might just go lower over time. I would just be keeping the ones that I get personally, but it's one of those ones that will take time to spike, and the ones at the front of this list are the ones that will go up quicker versus the ones that are going to just sleep for a while. So this is in the sleeper position, but it's one that I would just be keeping. And in the number 7 position, Mermail Abystius. And as you see, people not quite as fast to get rid of it over here on TCG Player. $15. It only had one printing ever, so it's the second printing. Remember Megalo? Remember the Battle Pack Rare being $2? Now remember it being $8, even though the deck is kind of sleeping? Me too. Now, all the way down to 1037 here, that's insane. It's already halved from its old price. Even dipping down to 16 was understandable. I think it would eventually settle at 10, but already at 10. This guy's listing is fake. It's been there forever to quell the price. You can't buy it, and it's just been there forever, no matter who reported it. But we see more of them at 12, 13, way lower than TCG Player again on all the reprint cards. People definitely trying to throw them out and just wait for the new versions. It's an upgraded rarity into secret rare. It looks really nice, and there's already new Mermail support announced. There's always just going to be cards I feel like that end up working with this deck, and wait for the next card like Norden or Mermail, not Mermail, Atlantean Protect Abyss that break the deck. This card will be spiking heavily, so it's just another one of those ones that I would keep, and I think has more potential than the ones behind me in the list to go up over time, because people love Mermails. They're the new Gladiator Beast. The beginning of the format, they don't know what to play. They've always kept their Mermail deck. They end up playing that. It's just the beginning of format deck that is a go-to that you don't have to spend any money on, and has the potential to top your local tournaments or even a regional due to its ability. And you still at least get to put one totally awesome on board, take 2 from their hand with Mulan Glacia. It's still a decent deck, even without Norden. It still has the ability to go in. And I believe in our number 6 position, we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. So that's 10, 9, 8, 7 into the 6th position. Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend is just one of those cards that comes back and has its time with the format. People will end up somehow playing breakthrough skill to try to take care of it from graveyard. There's so many board wipes right now, but it prevents your newest hyped one, Exciton Knight, if it comes off. If, that's a big if. And I think it's one of the best pickups from this set overall. As you see, it's already going down slowly as well. I don't see it going down to past $5 for this version. I think the holo version will actually be lower, as people aren't going to be buying these. These are going to sit on market, and they won't go down past $5 in my opinion overall. But again, cheaper on eBay, $6. All these were light play, moderately played, etc. Definitely be picking up your holo Vanities Fiends. The ultra rares, they're going to live cross formats. There's always going to be relevance. It's a win condition. There's some Zodiac decks that just their only outs are a field wipe, which isn't Kaiju Slumber, he's immune, or they have to get to Chalice. Those are their only two outs in an entire deck to a card at times. He's Kaiju immune. Definitely be on the lookout for this card. And in our number 5 possession, this is actually VCTRFS's one of his top picks. We talked about this entire list. Denko Seka. In my personal opinion, it's on the list here for me because it needs the back row heavy format to have its time, but it's very similar to Vanity's Fiend in that it just never has a bad time in a side deck. It's always going to find its way to fit in and keep you safe against rogue strategies that heavily depend on their back row. And it's all the way down to $6.39 here. It's getting a rarity upgrade to Secret Rare, and it looks real nice. People are already having pre-sales at $4.39, so lower than the current prices with Ideal 808. But I definitely see this card bottoming out and then going back up over time into demand. It's one that I would definitely be keeping at least 9 of, as he says. It's just such a great card. It looks so great as Secret Rare, and it is so prevalent in any format where a back row heavy deck will emerge. It's kind of actually just the gatekeeper to back row heavy decks. It's, can you beat me? No? Then I'm gonna ruin your day, deck. Like, it's just so good. So definitely one of VCTRFS's top picks. It's in my top 10 here at number 5 because I think it still is going to take a format that's back row heavy, and currently the ones on the horizon, if we follow the OCG, are not back row heavy yet. And in the number 4 position, Into the Void. This is the last long-term investment card. All these cards so far have been, they need something to happen for them to spike. It's budged some of the least. It's definitely just kind of kept its value here. $20 lowest still because of quantity for a near mint. And then we see 16 over here on eBay. And there's only 2 before 19. I definitely think it also just doesn't have the pre-sales. Oh, this is the Shining Darkness. Let's actually see the pre-sales. The pre-sales. Again, $5. It looks like a little bit higher than Denko for pre-sales. Ideal 808 sticking to 7. Wow. And it's just one of those cards like Dark World Dealings that's going to stay up in price range no matter what happens to it. So on release, I think it'll actually be its highest. I think it'll dip down a bit as people who end up wanting to trade them off and that let go of them early will end up trading them. They're like, I actually just don't need this card. I think that's the time to pick it up. I don't think it'll be immediately. I think it'll be sometime after Nationals, where it's the buyer's market, in that lull where there's no events and there's no hype for this card and this card's just not helping out with anything. I think that's definitely the time to go for this card. Dark World Dealings is just proof that cards like this are going to maintain and keep value, and then when their time comes in a deck that's degenerate, it'll spike hard. And it's one of those cards that is going to avoid being on the Forbidden Unlimited list, and this card can't go down until, in terms of future pricing after the fallout of this reprint, it just won't go down until there's either another reprint or there's some kind of hit to it on the FNL list, because It's a draw card, and it does what it does. It helps degenerate decks get places fast by getting through the deck. And like I said, Dark World Dealings holds its price. This is going to hold, and it can only go up from there for the most part. Now the quick flips in the number 3 position. Spellbook Magician of Prophecy hasn't budged down a bit. You see the market price. You see the near mint. It's actually, I think, lower here because on eBay the lowest is almost $12 from Canada before 12 again. There are people pre-selling all the way down at 5, but it's actually just holding, and we know we have future Spellbook support coming. We know we have future cards that are going to be helping this deck, like Spellbook of Rudra, I believe. It's just going to be so good, and that's why, spoiler, the number 2 position is going to be Spellbook of Secrets. The Spellbook cards are just so darn good, and I believe this was supposed to be Spellbook of Secrets here as well, because I think we just brought it up twice for some reason. But we see the lowest at $9, someone jumping ship. It seemed to be higher just a bit ago, so it is dropping a bit, but it's still maintaining its old before Spellbook announcement price. It's higher here on eBay by a bit. These cards are going to, if they go down much at all during that Nationals lull, just spike back up towards the set release when hype comes for the deck. It's one of the most loved decks of all time, and I think it'll be one of the quicker flips if you end up getting them at a decently cheap price during that time period. Definitely would be what I'm keeping an eye out for. But in the number 1 position, the undeniable look of a investor's position, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. They typically do not reprint a card without reason like this. Even Goyo, it took a while after its reprint, but it came off. Exciton Knight is getting a reprint in the set, an ultra rare, a downgraded rarity. I would still be picking up any version of Exciton Knight I can and trading for it. I would just trade straight up at value without taking a discount if I had to. Of course, it's always good to get a card at a discount, but if I'm trading even value, this is a card that's maintained this kind of a price after being banned. It's not like going up and spiking because of the reprint. It's maintaining. I think this card is undeniably, even if it doesn't come off this ban list, a great investment. It's in that talk of, well, it can come back now. Almost everybody thinks it can come back. It basically punishes overextension play. I would love to see it, and it works so well with one main monster zone as your extra deck monster if you're trying to avoid links. It's so good, and I think it would make so many players happy. And it's apparent that Konami is listening a little more lately, especially with this set and what it's going to do to the secondary market, and the obscure reprints that were in here that the community has put in top 10s to need to be reprinted and that sort of thing. This was the ultimate reprint set, and this is the main card I would be going after. So thanks for watching. What do you guys think about everything going on with this set? Did I miss a card you would have put in this top 10/market watch that I just completely glossed over that you think is a great card to keep and will go up from its initial prices, or that lull that it's gonna go down, be here, and then could just spike up? What do you guys think about this set overall? And again, having talked to VCTRFS, he said that he thinks the real investments are the ones that we wait to see what's not in the Megatins, and then bam, you go for them. It's really hard to be in that window, so I kind of like looking at the long term. You can go in that bull market of, oh, buy, sell, buy, sell, like the everything's rushing around. I think this, keeping a lot of these cards will pay off over time, but that's if you have the time and ability to keep cards. Thanks for watching, everybody, and again, let me know what cards you would have put in here if I missed them.